join us for another episode where real men have real conversations about leadership, relationships, morality, and dominion. Welcome to Mancode.
Well, I'd like to welcome you viewers back, our YouTube audience, those joining in for the first time, those who've been rocking with us since the beginning. Welcome back to the Mancode conversation. As you all know, we have real in-depth conversation. It always revolves around leadership, relationship, morality, and dominion. But this season, we've been actually really gearing it up to our men, our relationships, really the inner man, the you. And really the you really involves how you deal with others around you. But you have to know how to deal with yourself before you can really even get to that. So first off, I just like to say hello to my brothers tonight. How y'all doing? How's everything in your world?
What's up?
Hope it's steady. Steady.
How's everyone?
Steady.
Chilling.
There we go. We keep it real, viewers. So I know y'all know that already. But as you're watching, as you're, listening in, as you're sharing this out, definitely hit like on the video. And definitely, if you already have not subscribed to the Mancode, you're going to find we have an abundance of topics, all geared toward helping you become the best man or even the best woman that you can be. Even though this is called the Mancode, we don't mind our ladies watching either. But tonight, I just want to kind of go here a little bit because, again, we've been dealing with the relationship aspect of men, but have you ever really known a man that kind of suffers? We could talk about emotionally, physically, or spiritually, but they're going through it, but they're kind of, shy about getting help, shy about reaching out. I know we've all known men like that. I'm asking y'all and the view.
I would definitely say, yeah, for sure, being in the ministry and as a pastor, you always talk to people, you talk to men. And I really try to discern what's going on with men in general, but also, all people in general too. But a lot of men, like they say, you can tell that men struggle a lot of times, but they try to cover it up. They try to conceal it, and we'll talk about the reasons why shortly. But to answer that question, yeah.
Now look, I'm gonna read a verse from a song that came out in the 60s. So obviously this is not a new problem. Now this song isn't really based on, I want to say, emotional or physical hurt, but it's dealing with a hurt. So listen to this. Also, note, this is not my song, so I copyright infringement. Smokey Robinson in the Mirror. Tracks of my tears. All right. People say I'm the life of the party because I tell a joke or two. Although I might be laughing loud and hearty, deep inside I'm blue. So take a good look at my face. You'll see my smile looks out of place. If you look closer, it's easy to trace the tracks of my tears. So as the words of that kind of hit your head, why is this song relevant to most men suffering inside?
I think a part of it, man, is I feel like men historically, because like how we were raised, we feel like we don't have a place to be honest with how we're feeling. So many times, you were told real men don't cry, suck it up, move on, get over it. Like it don't hurt that bad. And so we've kind of like internalized those words that we've heard for so many generations. And now I feel like it's just kind of getting to a point where like men can't take it anymore. Like we have to start breaking our silence. And, that's why you see, men, suicide among men, the way it is, or depression among men the way it is, because we've been silent for so long. And this deep, dark thing that we've been packing down for years and years is starting to get to a point where we can't take it anymore. So we just feel like we can't be honest with how we're feeling sometimes.
I want to echo what Austin said. And I also think that we have kind of normalized dysfunction and labeled it masculinity. And so, to his point, over the years, it's like, shouldering the burdens of everyone, being able to carry the load. All those things have been attributes of what being a man is and being a leader or being a father is. And so we've internalized and said, this is just how we are supposed to be built. You know, we're supposed to be able to, you know, to bear this and suffer in silence, you know, lead while bleeding. Those are even some terms that I've heard even in certain circles when it comes to leading. So not even taking sabbaticals or taking, you know, mental health days or what have you, but, you know, taking on that stress or taking on that anxiety, but stuffing it down, as Austin said, and still trying to stay focused. I think to some aspects, I think it is genetic as well. Men don't actually lead from their emotions. They really lead from logic, or they lead from a sense of knowledge, versus our counterparts that they can lead from a place of emotion, that nurture nature kind of, you know, dynamic that's actually present. So in as much as person says that person feels cold, or that person, you know, you don't have any feeling, it's not the fact that that person doesn't have any feelings, is that we've been conditioned to suppress emotion in order to deal with situations.
Coping mechanism. Okay.
For my piece, I would agree with both the responses that I've heard, and just add a short piece, you know, because it has been a programming for the young men growing up into manhood, to suppress those feelings and to put them aside. You know, like, you don't display man characteristics if you don't hold it in or be tough or hold a certain posture, yet you're tearing inside, you know, like the songwriter said, you know, you're destroyed inside, but yet you have to have this posture that you're invincible. And that's not the true man, you know, it's not even the true human being, you know. We just have to learn how to handle it. And then as we go through this new process or this new change of inner being, I think we can really express ourselves clear, so someone can truly understand us and what's really going on. Because I think we camouflage so much, we even lose our own identity as to who we really are inside.
Yeah, that's good. I feel like I need to lay down on the couch right now. But let me throw this thought out to you. As far as men, like you say, suffering in silence, you guys make some excellent points. But I want to throw this out to you. Sometimes I think men really don't want to talk, and maybe it's subconscious, because once they start talking, if you get a man that's really hurt, broken up, you know, and he hasn't expressed any emotion, let him start talking. And eventually you'll see the tears. The Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. You can see all that pain, that hurt, all that stuff that he's been bottling up. It'll come out once he gets that first, you know, once you crack that little, you crack that egg a little bit, and then all that stuff just come out, man. I've seen guys just, you know, and you feel for them, because you can just feel the hurt, the pain that they've held for so long. And once you start to, you know, let that go, that release, man, is powerful. And like you say, if men would just, like you, it just talk, man, and you can get set free. But like you say, that being silent, not speaking, it bottles that up, and you're like a time bomb, man. You're about to explode, you know, internally, you know. So you got to release, man.
Wow, this is powerful.
Yeah.
I find what you said brought something else to mind, because later on in that same song, Tracks of My Tears, it says, hey, yeah, outside I'm masquerading, inside my hope is fading. So when you say camouflage, you think of wearing layers, wearing armor, that's weighing you down. You're not moving as fast. And after, like you just said, you lose yourself in all that, because you pack on so much, you don't find your way out of the shell you created. But there's a word, actually, for a term used for a person like that. Now, I may not say this right. It sounds like a Bible book. It's called an Ascendiastes. It's spelled ECCENDENTSIAST. So I didn't make that up. You can fact check me on that. But that is a term for one hiding misery behind a false smile. That's probably why it's such a long name. I was about to say you hide behind the, you know, false smile. Whatever. But
yeah. Say it one more time. Let me say it one more time. Say it one more time.
All right.
No, I got one more.
Ecendiastes. Yeah. Take it where you want.
I would just like to add on what Pastor Crawford said, you know, about a man expressing himself. I think that we find ourselves in a difficult situation because trying to find that safe place to express, you know, it's got to be a safe place. We got to feel the safety. There's a safety net there to catch us if we fall or give up too much information. It won't be spilled out into another arena.
But let me ask you this: is pride the only reason men hide their pain?
No, I would say no.
No,
Give me some examples here.
I think pride is fear. Fear of what you may feel when you like actually release that thing. Like it may not have anything to do with what other people think, but just the fact that, you know, if I say this, I don't know what triggers may go off inside of me when I say this thing. And so, like I said, just the fear of the response internally that we'll have as men, I think is what gets in the way sometimes too.
I think also the concern of how broken he may be by sharing that information, not being able to rebound from the pent up truth. You know, I don't know if you ever saw somebody who was like a tough person, and you have people who are been incarcerated who have taken the life of somebody, and after so many years, that person, you know, comes forward and confesses because I can't live with that. I can't live with that lie anymore. Even though they served the time, they still have never verbalized the truth. And then there's that release of that truth, and then there is also that release of that person saying, "I forgive you." It's that forgiveness of the thing that I release. But all those things can break a man down, and then he has to be rebuilt because it's almost like that. I don't know if you guys ever heard it where, like, in relationships, a person can like rock with you so long through your adversity, and then when you make the decision to change, they don't have the energy to walk with you during your time of strength, and you wonder why that person couldn't. You rock with me during the times I was jacked up, but now I'm good, but you don't want to walk with me through the times I'm good. Is because I think mainly is that I don't know if I have the energy to trust you in that way again.
Yeah.
That's
You know what I'm saying? And so I think for men, it's that same thing. It's like, you know, once they have released that, I think it is that, it's that, to go back to Austin saying about fear, I think it's that fear of, I don't know if I can trust myself. I don't know how I personally would respond. I feel loose. I don't feel like I'm in control or restrained, you know, because you spend all that energy trying to keep that bottled up. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I agree with that totally. And I don't want to be redundant, but like you say, fear, shame, guilt, all those types of things. And sometimes I think the men just, you know, they want to, but like you say, for all those reasons, they just don't know how to get it out. But they have to open up. And once they, like you say, once they open it up, and you hit the point there. I think confession. Once you start talking, once you confess that thing, man. Once you start, vocalizing some things, man. That's just so powerful. But yeah, pride is definitely not the only reason. I think some men just, hey, like you say, I don't know what's going to happen, man. If I start telling this, they want to be hard, they don't want to appear soft, all those type of dynamics. You know what I'm saying? You know, like for example, you can win a championship. Like a Michael Jordan can win a championship and cry. A Larry Bird can cry. He cried after loss. But I guess it's okay in some areas, some arenas. But maybe they, you know, I don't know how. You know, they're on TV in front of millions of people. But some men, like I say, I don't know. So it's probably a little bit different for everyone. But in most cases, you know, men do struggle with that as far as you know, showing their emotions in front of people.
I just got a little short piece with that. I just look at pride as being a Band-Aid to cover the scar. You know, the pain is underneath the Band-Aid. It's just a covering.
No, that's a big short piece.
Yeah.
That's said a lot in a little bit. I guess two words popped into my head, and you gentlemen use this. Shame was one, but I also think regret. But it depends on the term of, you know, what you're really hiding from. I think in terms of maybe like a physical ailment that you don't want people to know about, you may be looking at regret. Why didn't I get myself looked at sooner? It could be shame actually from how you acted in a relationship, and now you're lonely in life, and you're hurting inside. It could be a number of factors, but the idea is it's always more than one factor. So a lot of times, even though we blame pride on a lot of things, I think men just need to examine themselves and be honest with themselves. And that's something that facing in the mirror, I don't think we always do enough of that. I think that's sometimes the hardest thing to overcome is getting over yourself. So
yeah, let me share this example to you also. Sometimes it's misinformation. I remember when I was growing up as a young fella in the early 70s and so forth, as a teenager, and Julius Erving, Dr. J was my role model, my idol, and I loved the doctor. And I read a book about Dr. J. He had lost his brother at a young age. His brother got sick and passed away. But long story short, Dr. J said he wouldn't cry. And so I modeled myself after Dr. J to a degree. I said, there's nothing gonna make me cry. I lost a lot of relatives young and so forth that were very close and dear to me, but I was just so set, being like Doc, that I wasn't gonna cry. See, so the point I'm trying to make is sometimes, you can get influenced by the people that you're around, what you see and so forth. And that stood with me. But then what happened, I'm just gonna make this personal. I'm trying to be hard and tough. I lost a cousin in Chicago. He was 16. I lost a cousin. He got killed. He was 23, 24. And at those points, I had never cried. And then, late 1979, something like that, my stepfather passed away. I'm going to the funeral. I'm trying to be hard, with that, but I get up there, man. And that's when it broke, man. It just all came out, and so I couldn't control it. It was, it's just one of those things that just, but, so long story short, I was just trying to follow out the Doc, man. If Doc don't cry, I ain't going to cry. That was just how it was for me. I don't know how it went for you, but that's what happened with me, man.
All right. You led into something. I'm glad you said something. Now you can only push hurt down so far before it pops back up. And what are some outward expressions of sucking it up too much? This show. What do men generally demonstrate from always sucking it up?
Different vices, man. Drugs, alcohol, pornography, addiction to like having classic cars, right? Like it doesn't necessarily have to be like something like drugs, alcohol, pornography, but it's just like an addiction to some kind of thing that takes your mind off whatever you're dealing with. Like for some people, it's houses, it's going to the gym. For some people, where, it's like I said, it could be either positive or negative.
Yeah, it could be a constant state of anxiety or stress or even depression.
I would think it would be reflective of anger, something you can't really express. You're holding it in until you get to that boiling point, where it explodes, and then it's just an emotion of anger.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. You take it out of other people and so forth. They're feeling the effects of your anger and how you're not handling it. You come home, kicking the dog, screaming at the wife, the kids and so forth. You come in the house, everybody's running from you, trying to get away from you because you don't know how to express that. And like you say, if you don't express it properly, it will probably come out in a fashion that's not going to be beneficial.
Yeah, and then just to add to that, like sometimes, like even if that expression isn't necessarily like physical or verbal, like I guess physically it wears on your body as well. So you start to look different, you start to feel different. People are noticing changes. You losing hair, hair is turning gray, not because of age, but because of stress. You got hair, you got hair turning gray. Like, man, I can think of so many guys. So I'm 32 years old. And I can think of so many guys that I went to school with, man, that look, I mean, let's be honest, like some of them, look older than Danielle, look older than Jonathan, like older than some of you guys, man. Just
watch yourself, man.
No, watch out now.
Serious, man. I'm so serious because it's just like the pressures of life is eating away at them so much, man. And like my heart breaks for them. Like it's tough to see that. It's tough to see that. And all that stems from, like we're talking about, so much inside that they never released before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hit that cool. Yeah, Austin about to break up the Mancode.
Yeah, you're right, but they are aging pretty well, though. They are aging pretty well.
Not aging at all. Y'all, let's move it along. But no.
I think that speaks to how great you brothers look, man. Y'all look good. I want to be like.
All right. right,
Yeah.
we'll rock with that. We'll rock with that. But I think you all hit it. I think a bit in a roundabout way at Austin. I think the main thing that shows up is depression. Depression manifests in different forms. You see it. I think a lot of times people associate depression with that sullen, shrinking withdrawal to yourself. But those outbursts of anger, the violent tendencies, that's also depression. Because either way, you don't have anywhere for those feelings to exist. So whatever is already in you or whatever influence may be around you, you're going to express that in the wrong way. And actually addictions, just the wrong behavior, and that's why a lot of men just can't seem to get it together. Can't stop cussing your boss out. You don't have self-control. You can't stay stable in a relationship. Step back and examine why. We're trying to push forward through something when that wall just continues to exist. So y'all kind of hit that all around. But let's spin here. Speaking personally, but I think we've all known cases of men who were sick or debilitated, never disclosed what's wrong with them until the last minute or not at all. So you might hear something a month out, a couple months out, and it's like, you don't know them for 3-4 years. Why you ain't say anything? Are they doing that to protect themselves or their loved ones from hurt? Or is it selfish, or is it I'm trying to look out for them by not having them worry about me and be stressed out themselves? Break that down for me.
Well, I think if me being in a situation like that, sick with some type of possibly fatal disease or something life-threatening, I think I would kind of like keep it disclosed only to a small network of friends or family, and ask that it stay in that same pocket. And because number one, it's not just you don't want to be going through it, but you don't want the outside forces to come in and start asking you questions. Why did you do this? What are you doing wrong? Are you really in the Lord, or something that really is off the chain? But they're asking you a lot of questions that you really don't want to deal with, along with the sickness that you're going through. So for me, I would just want that small network of friends and family to, when I need them, I know I have them to go to and to express whatever I want to express within that small pocket.
Yeah, I would just throw in there, and I think a reason would be men typically don't want to burden other men with things they always assume that people got their own stuff that they got to deal with, and they don't want to burden them with their stuff.
Yeah, I like what Elder Fan and Daniel said too. I think a lot of it could be some, could possibly, and this might be a stretch, could be some embarrassment. Let's say, for example, if they get a illness or disease that was done in some, in a bad way. Let's just say maybe AIDS or something. I'm just not trying to pick on that, but they got something in a illicit lifestyle of some sort, and they don't want people to know. That could be one. So the embarrassment of that. And like Elder Fant was saying, sometimes you can't tell everyone your business. I think about this sometimes. If I'm going through something serious, I'm just going to have a select group of people. Of course, I'll let the people that by me being a man of faith, those that can pray and get a prayer through, I'm going to definitely share that with them, because when it's time for me, when I'm fighting, I'm going to get everybody that I know how to fight, and the spirit, if you're a person of faith with me, that I can trust and so forth. So yeah. But like I said, a lot of times it could just be that you have to be careful who you tell your information to, because like you say, you do have those people that got you. Yeah. And they're looking to see what's going to come out of this and where you're at in your life and so forth. So you have to be mindful of it. But me personally, I would just pray and seek God and ask who I should share this information with. But I'm definitely going to have some believe me, if I got sick, you 5 want to know about it. You 4 want to know about it. And I'm gonna expect some expectation that you're gonna pray. You see, so yeah, so for sure.
That brings me to another point with this. Now let's say I'm gonna use myself as an example, and we all cool and intertwine each other's lives. Let's say I have a terminal illness. I find out that I only have a year to 6 months to live, but I keep it from y'all because I don't want to worry you with it. So I'm handling everything. I'm moseying through. But again, I'm not telling the whole world. It's not about that. you definitely should tell those intimately involved in your life. However, I'm keeping it from those. I'm keeping it from brothers that I consider to be close to me, brothers. Is that fair?
Well, go ahead. Yeah, I can go on this one, but yeah,
No.
let me just, I would personally, I would be wondering why, and I'm not going to say I would go to the point of being offended, but I would just say, man, look where your help comes from, man. You know, I'm gonna go through this thing with you, man. I'm down because I'm not trying to hype, pump myself up. But if you really get to know me, like Elder Fant knows me, if we go back 50 plus years, man, I'm that guy, truthfully, that's gonna ride you out, man. I'm not gonna, carry you 2/3 to the journey. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I would say, man, I thought we were a little closer than that because, as far as going to, that's something, if you're sick, man, you need to know somebody that can go there with you. People will stay with you for a while, but if you get sick for a long time, eventually you'll see who, when the smoke clears, you'll see how that thing kind of wanes off, and you want somebody that's going to stay with you, man.
Yeah, I would say so. I wouldn't necessarily feel like it was unfair or be upset or anything. And I guess like this is me speaking through personal experience because my father passed away from cancer, and getting that news was extremely disappointing. Extremely disappointing. And even my dad, like when we found out what it was, the disappointment on his face when he found out what it was. And so in those instances, like I guess I kind of put myself in the other person's shoes and consider how they're feeling too, because it's like they have to fight over like the doubt, the disappointment that they're dealing with internally before they can even go to anybody and say anything. And so like Pastor Malcolm said, like if anything, like those people that are closest to you, like I would expect you to tell me or whatever. But if you don't, and I find out and you only got a couple weeks, to live or whatever, I guess I would say I would have a lot of grace and be understanding of why you chose not to say anything, because I've seen on firsthand the effects of getting news like that and what people go through internally when they find out those things about themselves.
Before anybody jump in, let me say this, Brother Austin. The question was a little bit different, though. Brother Johnson, if you see what I'm saying? Now, if it was somebody else, I definitely get where you're tracking with that. I would be a little bit more, different, like I say, because, but he said if it was him. Now, if it was his wife or something, like you say, that was another person. I definitely tracking with you 100%. So, yeah. But I'm just saying, if it was you or somebody, you see what I'm saying? If it was somebody else, I think my approach would be a little bit different because that's them that you're sharing information about versus yourself, if that makes sense to you. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's why I responded like I did. If it was somebody else, my response would have been a little bit different.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Okay, that's what you're saying. I just want to make sure that, yeah, okay. But I love your
Now
response.
y'all didn't confuse me. Can you restate the question?
So I basically just threw in, is it fair? Let's say you're sitting in a situation and I know that, I only have 6 months to live. And we're talking us. And I fail to disclose to y'all that, I only have that amount of time to live. And then, here you come up and I just miraculously come up dead. I'm saying, is that fair to know, for me to know that and not disclose that to those close to me like this? Is that fair? That's all it was.
So I'm going to say yes, because all relationships aren't equal.
But let's say if it's a close-knit relationship,
doesn't even make a difference. All relationships are not equal. I mean, to say you have the same equal level of
I'm not saying that. I'm saying, let's say if it's your ace boom cool, your day one, and you rock with your boy, you see your boy every week, y'all talking, but you don't disclose to him like, look, and I'm dying to say, they gave me 6 months to live. Mm-hmm. I'm saying, in that context, is that fair?
Is that fair to let them know that you only have 2 days, a couple of days left to live, and you could have told them when you first got the diagnosis?
Yeah.
I'm still the same. But my thing is that my thing is that, how can I put this? That's such a personal thing that you're dealing with, and you're wrestling with it, and you haven't come to terms. Maybe you haven't even gotten to a place with whatever it is you're tussling with that you're really ready to process it and to deal with it, to even share it with anybody. That maybe, you know, it's 2 days. I only got 2 days or 4 days or a week left. You know what? I should start letting some people know, because, you know, because I've been wrestling with this. So it's like, how do you deal with grief? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? To me, that falls into that same category. It's like everybody processes that differently. So I don't think it's fair for a person to say it's wrong that I didn't, because everybody processes stuff. Some people, as soon as they get the diagnosis, they go out and tell everybody, like, hey, y'all, you know, get around this. You know, we don't, you know, some people don't. They play it close to the chest.
Okay. I would totally agree with what Danielle was saying. It's really up to that individual.